Have you ever wondered why the same verse of the Quran can stir tears in the heart of one person while spark a legal debate in the mind of another? How can a single book, believed to be the unchanging Word of God, give rise to such profoundly different interpretations? On one side are the jurists and scholars, methodical, structured, grounded in the outer forms. On the other side, the mystics, the Sufis, immersed in inward experiences, silence, and the fragrance of divine love. Are they contradicting each other, or are they seeing the same truth through different lenses? This journey will take us deep into the sacred ocean of the Quran, through the minds of scholars and the hearts of Sufis, to discover how the divine word reveals itself to reason and love alike. Foundations of the two perspectives. Al-ilm scholars. Islamic scholarship traditionally rests upon the twin pillars of naql, transmission, and aql, reason. Scholars approach the Quran with tools of tafsir, grammar, jurisprudence, and historical context. They prioritize zahir, the apparent meaning, often categorizing verses by legal, doctrinal, and social relevance. Their aim is to preserve the integrity of divine law, Sharia, and ensure proper practice. Al-tasawwuf, Sufis. Sufis, on the other hand, do not reject the outer meanings, but believe the Quran holds batin, inner dimensions. Their reading is contemplative, symbolic, and experiential. They approach the Quran not just to understand, but to be transformed. For them, the Quran is not only a manual for life, but also a ladder to God, marifa, evidence from the Quran. We have certainly presented for the people in this Quran from every kind of example that they might remember. Surah Az-Zumar 39:27. It is He who has sent down to you the book, and in it are verses that are precise and others unspecific. As for those in whose hearts is deviation, they will follow that of it which is unspecific. Surah Ali Imran 3:7. These verses suggest the Quran has multiple layers, some clear, others requiring deeper reflection. Methodology, exegesis versus intuition. Scholarly tafsir. Classical exegesis, tafsir, like that of Al-Tabari, Al-Qurtubi, or Ibn Kathir, relies on the asbab al-nuzul, context of revelation, hadiths, and linguistic analysis. Their concern is, what did this verse mean in its original context, and what ruling does it imply? Sufi ta'wil, symbolic interpretation. Sufis embrace ta'wil, interpreting verses symbolically or allegorically. Ibn Arabi's exegesis, for example, reflects mystical insight. Rumi's Masnavi interprets Quranic stories not just historically, but spiritually, as mirrors of the soul's journey. Example, Surah An-Nur 24:35. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Scholars, explain the metaphor in terms of divine guidance. Sufis, see it as a description of divine presence illuminating the seeker's heart. Law and love, Sharia and Haqiqah. Sharia, law. Islamic law derived from the Quran and Sunnah is indispensable. It structures society, ethics, and worship. Scholars defend its boundaries to avoid innovation. Bid'ah, Haqiqah, truth. Sufis accept Sharia as foundational, but argue that it leads to Haqiqah, the divine reality. Sharia is the outer shell. Haqiqah is the kernel. The Prophet said, worship Allah as if you see Him. Hadith Jibril, Sahih Muslim. Imam Malik famously said, he who gains knowledge in jurisprudence, fiqh, without tasawwuf, then he will certainly become corrupt, fisq. And he who practices tasawwuf without gaining knowledge in jurisprudence will become a heretic, tazandaka. And he who gathers between the two has proven true, tahakak. Human nature and the soul. Scholars on the soul. They analyze nafs, ruh, and qalb through Quranic terminology, using distinctions like nafs al-amara, commanding self, nafs al-lawama, blaming self, and nafs al-mutma'ina, tranquil self. Sufi insights. Sufis go further to experience these stages. They see the Quran as a map of the soul. Verses about Pharaoh or Iblis are not just historical, but reflections of egoistic tendencies. Example, Surah Al-Fajr, 89:27-30. O tranquil soul, return to your Lord, well pleased and pleasing. Scholars see this as a reward in the hereafter. Sufis interpret it as a spiritual realization achievable in this life. Language of the heart versus language of the mind. The Qur'an addresses both the aqal, intellect, and the qalb, heart. Scholars predominantly interpret with the mind, Sufis with the heart. Both have roots in Islamic tradition. Qur'an says, do they not reflect upon the Qur'an, or are there locks upon their hearts? 47:24. Indeed, in that is a reminder for whoever has a heart or who listens while he is present in mind. 50:37. This shows contemplation and heart-centered listening are both Quranic modes. Prophetic model, the union of both. The Prophet Muhammad was both a teacher and a mystic. He was a judge, legislator, and commander, but also wept in prayer, meditated in the cave, and spoke of love for Allah. Hadith, I spend the night with my Lord. He gives me food and drink. Mystic intimacy. Hadith, pray as you see me pray. Legal structure, the balance of outer and inner is embodied in him. Arabi versus Ibn Taymiyyah, clash or completion. Ibn Taymiyyah, strong critique of Sufi excesses, particularly pantheistic interpretations. Ibn Arabi, advocate of Wahdat al-Wujud, unity of being, viewing all of creation as manifestations of divine names. Yet both affirmed absolute tawheed, monotheism, love of the Prophet, centrality of the Qur'an. While their methods differ, their sincerity and depth are undeniable. The risk of extremes. Scholars without spirit, risk of dry legalism. Sufis without scholarship, risk of spiritual anarchy. The Qur'an warns against both. Do not be excessive in your religion. 4:17:1. They took their rabbis and monks as lords besides Allah. 9:31. Balance is the key. Unity and diversity, one Qur'an, many lights. Like light refracted through a prism, the Qur'an shines differently for different hearts. The Prophet said, the Qur'an has an outward and inward meaning, and the inward has another inward, up to 7 layers. Conclusion, embrace the fullness. Both the scholar's lamp and the Sufi's candle are lit from the same flame. The scholar teaches us how to live. The Sufi teaches us why to live. Together they guard the body and soul of Islam. The Qur'an is not just to be understood, it is to be embodied, wept over, surrendered to. Let us not limit its light to one form, one lens, or one tradition. If this journey stirred something within you, don't stop here. Let this be the beginning of a deeper relationship with the Qur'an. Study its words, reflect in silence, seek teachers of knowledge, sit in the company of those who remember Allah with tears in their eyes. Subscribe for more spiritual deep dives and share this message with someone who's looking for a path that nourishes both intellect and soul. Because the Qur'an is not just read, it is lived.